Today I'm driving a Stage 2 tuned Hyundai Verna 1.5 Turbo, which has been built by Carmet Bangalore and Code 6 Bangalore. And today we want to find out, should you do a Stage 1 setup or a Stage 2 setup? First and foremost, this is a sweet sounding engine, and this is running Code 6's infamous pops and bangs tune, and I have to say they've calibrated it really well. The pops and bangs are not very irritating and it makes a really nice sound. It's of course running a downpipe since it is a Stage 2, but it's not running an intercooler, so maybe there is a chance of it getting heat soaked from time to time, but that's totally fine if you're not going to be pushing it all the time as well. But of course an intercooler is recommended, and we would most definitely tell you that the first mod that you should do is probably an intercooler. But this car is running just fine with a downpipe, drop-in air filter and the Code 6 remap. But do you want to know how much horsepower it makes? This thing makes 200 horsepower and 300 Newton meters of torque. Now I know in the last video where you saw the Stage 1 Plus car, it made roughly around the same horsepower, and that too it was dyno verified, but this thing is not running an intercooler. That's why Code 6 has gone a little bit conservative on the remap. If they drop in an intercooler, well, it will probably make 15-20 horsepower more. Now the biggest advantage that this car has is the amazing exhaust system that it has. It's also running a downpipe, that's why it can go all the way up to 200 horsepower as well. This thing is running a downpipe, a full exhaust system, a drop-in air filter by BMC, and of course the Stage 2 remap done by Code 6 Bangalore. So let's not waste any more time and talk about what are the differences between a Stage 1 and a Stage 2. Now, a couple of months ago, I drove a Stage 2 Virtus, and I have to say the Virtus and the Verna, I mean, of course, they're direct competitors, but this car feels much better to drive than a Virtus. I haven't driven a 6-speed manual 1.5 TSI Virtus, but even in the DSG format that I drove it in, it was nowhere near the power levels or the responsiveness of this 1.5 TGDI. This is clearly the superior engine and the superior platform in general. In terms of horsepower also, you can see the clear difference. This particular car makes 20 horsepower more than a Stage 2 Virtus, which is a pretty big jump. And moreover, just the responsiveness of the engine. I mean, you can get into the power band at any given RPM, and it makes such a nice noise from this exhaust system that the owner has fitted. Just the throttle pedal, the way the car moves and the torque curve and everything is just so much better than the Virtus. And moreover, in the Virtus, it just feels like the engine is holding back, whereas in this, it feels much more free, it feels much more eager to rev. So this is definitely the more engaging driving experience as well. And pair that with this 6-speed manual transmission, yeah, you're in for a treat, because it's very easy to rev match, do heel and toe and everything of that sort in this particular gearbox as well. overall, this is a very solid car to drive. It feels very planted as well. It gives a very European driving experience, which I think so Volkswagen also is not giving nowadays. So this engine, this platform has been a very big surprise, especially to someone who has owned Volkswagens for pretty much all of their life. And yeah, this is looking to be a very intriguing platform. Now let's talk about the key differences between a Stage 1 and a Stage 2 Verna Turbo. As I mentioned earlier, the Stage 1 car was running a simple intercooler upgrade and a Stage 1 remap, producing 198 wheel horsepower. In contrast, this Stage 2 car has been upgraded with a downpipe, exhaust system, BMC air filter and a Code 6 Stage 2 tune, resulting in 200 horsepower. While the power gain may not be drastic, it's worth noting that with an intercooler, this Stage 2 car could easily gain another 15 to 20 horsepower. For context, the Virtus 1.5 GT in its Stage 2 format, which we drove in Bangalore, produced 180 horsepower. The cost of just unlocking the ECU and a Stage 2 tune for the Virtus was a whopping 90,000 rupees. In comparison, the Verna 1.4 Turbo in its Stage 2 setup offers impressive value. The total cost of the Stage 2 build, including the tune, exhaust system with downpipe and a BMC air filter, came out to 1,16,499 rupees. Considering the Verna is almost 1 lakh rupees cheaper than the Virtus X showroom, I believe it's the better deal in the current Indian tuning scene. But what if you want to take it to the next level and go Stage 3 on the 1.5T GDI engine? Now, are there any options to go Stage 3 on the 1.5T GDI? Well, that's a little bit of a question mark at the moment. A couple of tuners have told us that there are hybrid turbos available for this car, but an hybrid turbo is not the only thing that you need to have a proper functioning Stage 3 setup. Of course, you'll need an intercooler, and since this car is a manual, we don't know how much torque it can handle, especially if you drop in a bigger hybrid turbo. So yeah, all of that is a little bit of a question mark. Maybe you need a stronger clutch, maybe you need, of course, upgraded brakes, and all of that is still in the works because this platform is still developing, and over time I think so we'll start seeing more and more developments, and I think so this has a lot of potential. And now, since Hyundai has also started creating their own little ecosystem with parts from the Creta that can be fitted onto this, and stuff from the Tucson probably also can be fitted onto this, maybe you'll get some really nice OEM plus options. So definitely a really interesting platform to look at. I think the conclusion is pretty straightforward. Hyundai has hit it out of the park with the new Verna and the 1.5T GDI engine. This is a clear winner if you pit it against the Virtus GT. The 1.5 TSI and the Virtus, well, as we all know, at least at the moment, doesn't even compare to the Verna. I mean, the Verna in Stage 1 Plus format makes 20 horsepower more than a Stage 2 tuned Virtus. And a Stage 2 tuned Verna with an intercooler, downpipe, intake and everything, the works is probably going to be 40-50 horsepower more than a Virtus Stage 2. So I don't think there's any sort of debate, at least at the moment, when you compare the 1.5 TSI and the 1.5 TGDI. And the only thing that's remaining is probably more aftermarket support for the Hyundai family, but I think so that will come as the platform progresses. So if you want to buy your next tuner car and it has to be under 30 lakh rupees, you have the king of the tuner cars in the Indian segment at the moment, the Hyundai Verna 1.5 Turbo, and this particular one has been done up really well by Code 6 Bangalore. Thank you so much for watching this video. Follow the owners of the Verna 1.5 that we have today. Their links are down in the description. Follow CarMed Bangalore, Code 6 Bangalore. Follow us on Instagram as well, and I'll catch you in the next one.